E.N.D here. If you love the Western genre and at the same time you love Magic the Gathering, Outlaws of Thunder Junction is the set made perfectly for you. You have everything: Outlaws, Gunslingers, Mounts, Heroes, Showdowns, etc, etc. What do you want more from a set? Anyway, let's start. And guess who's back? Yes, Jace is back. Jace reawakened. 2 blue mana, 3 loyalty counters. You cannot cast the spell during your first, second or third turn of the game. +1, draw a card, then discard a card. Another +1, you may exile an online card with mana value 3 or less from your hand. If you do, it becomes plotted. -6, until end of turn, whenever you cast a spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. I am glad that Jace is back. But is he the real Jace? It seems that Ashok is involved. If Jace is on Thunder Junction, then there must be Vraska. Vraska the Silencer, 1/1 black and 1 green, 3/3 with Death Touch. Whenever a non-token creature opponent controls dies, you may pay 1. If you do, return that card to the battlefield tapped under your control. It's a treasure artifact with tap. Sacrifice it at 1 mana of any color and it loses all other card types. Keelan the Kid, 1 green, 1 white and 1 blue, 3 color Keelan, 3/3, flying lifelink. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you may cast a permanent spell with equal or lesser mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. If you don't, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Finally, a good killing card. Annie Flash the Veteran, 3/1 red, 1 green and 1 white, 4/5 with Flash. Enters the battlefield. If you cast it, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Whenever it becomes tapped, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. Rakdos the Muscle, 2/2 black and 1 red, 6/5 flying trample. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, exile cards equal to its mana value from the top of target's player's library until your next end step. You may play those cards and mana of any type can be spent to cast those spells. Sacrifice another creature, it gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it, activate only once each turn. Digitrock Ravenous Rite, 3/1 black and 1 green, 6/5 trample and haste. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice a creature that settled it this turn. If you do, draw X cards, then put up to X lands card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. Settle for 1. Selvala Eagle Trailblazer, 2/1 green and 1 white, 4/5. We already saw this card when it was leaked. Vigilance, whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 red mercenary creature token with tap. Target creature control, get +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Tap, choose a color, add a mana of that color for each different power among creatures you control. Double Down, 3 and 1 blue enchantment. Whenever you cast an outlaw spell, copy that spell. Simple and effective. Gisa the Hellraiser, 3 and 2 black, 4/4, war, 2 and pay to life. Skeletons and zombies you control, get +1/+1 and have menace. Whenever you commit a crime, create 2 tap to 2 blue and black zombie row creature tokens. This ability triggers only once each turn. And if you don't know how you can commit a crime in Magic the Gathering, don't forget to check my tutorial. Vraska joins up for 1 black and 1 green, legendary enchantment. Enters the battlefield, put a death touch counter on each creature you control. Whenever a legendary creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Tiny Bones joins up for 1 black legendary enchantment. It seems that this will be a cycle. Enters the battlefield and a number of target players each discard a card. Whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, any number of target players each mill a card and lose 1 life. Insatiable Avarice for 1 black sorcery with Spree. Spree means choose 1 or more additional cost. +2 generic mana, search your library for a card, then shuffle and put that card on the top. +2 black mana, target player draws 3 cards and lose 3 life. Fortune Loyal Steed for 2 and 1 white, 2/4. Enters the battlefield, scry 2. Whenever it attacks, while settled at end of combat, exile it and up to 1 creature that settled it this turn. Then return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. Settle for 1. Great Train Heist for 1 red instant with Spree. Add 2 and 1 red, untap all creatures you control. If it's your combat phase, there is an additional combat phase after this phase. For 2 generic mana, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain fair strike 10 out of 10. For 1 red mana, choose target opponent. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to that player this turn, create a tapped treasure token. Slick Shot Show Off for 1 and 1 red, 1/2 Flying Haste. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Has Plot for 1 and 1 red. Plot means you may pay, in this case 1 and 1 red, and exile this card from your hand. Cast it as a sorcery on a later turn without paying its mana cost. Plot only as a sorcery. Magda the Horde Master for 1 and 1 red, 2/2. Whenever you commit a crime, create a tapped treasure token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Sacrifice 3 treasures. Create a 4/4 red Scorpion Dragon creature token with flying and haste. Activate only as a sorcery. Flip it, Lost on the Range for 1 and 2 blue, 1/1 with War 2. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. The top card of your library has Plot. The plot cost is equal to its mana cost. You may plot non-land cards from the top of your library. Free Strider Lookout 2 and 1 green, 3/3 with reach. Whenever you commit a crime, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. This ability triggers only once each turn. It seems that committing a crime in Magic the Gathering really pays. The Key to the Vault for 1 and 1 blue, legendary artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, look at that many cards from the top of your library. You may exile an online card from among them. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. You may cast the exile card without paying its mana cost. Equip for 2 and 1 blue. Colossal Rattleworm for 2 and 2 green, 6/5. Has flash as long as you control a desert. Trample for 1 and 1 green. Exile it from your graveyard. Search your library for a desert card. Put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. The Land Cycle, the enemy colored fast lands. All of them taps for 2 color and all of them will enter the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands. Plot the Heist for 2 and 2 blue, sorcery, survey 3. If you have no cards in hand, then draw 3 cards. Plot for 3 and 1 blue. Miriam Heart Whisperer for 1 green and 1 white, 3/2. As long as it's your turn, mounts and vehicles you control have hexproof. Whenever a mount or vehicle you control attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Vile Smasher Gleeful Grenadier for 1 black and 1 red, 3/2. Whenever another outlaw enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to target opponent. Crown Violent Cacophony for 2, 1 blue and 1 red, 2/3 flying. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card. Make Your Own Luck for 3, 1 green and 1 blue, sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may exile an online card from among them. If you do, it becomes plotted. Put the rest into your hand. Holy Cow, literally Holy Cow, for 2 and 1 white, 2/2, flash flying, enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and scry 1. Hard Bristle Bandit for 1 and 1 green, 1/1, tap at 1 mana of any color. Whenever you commit a crime, untap it. This ability triggers only once each turn. The Common Land Cycle, the Dual Desert Lands. All of them will enter the battlefield tapped and all of them, when they enter the battlefield, they will deal 1 damage to target opponent. Breaking news, a set of cards that will help you commit a crime. All these cards are reprints, Oko Thief of Crowns, Mana Drain, and Clear Shot. You can find these cards in play booster boxes and collector booster boxes, but the textured foil can only be pulled from the collector booster boxes. Outlaws of Thunder Junction will give us more. The Vault, a set of 38 cards that was originally planned to be released with an epilogue booster pack called The Big Score. Now they have been incorporated in the list. Vault-Born Tyrant, 5 and 2 green, 6/6 with trample. Whenever it or another creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 3 life and draw a card. When it dies, if it's not a token, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. Torpor Orb for 2 generic mana, artifact. Creatures entering the battlefield don't cost abilities to trigger. Transmutation Font for 5 generic mana, artifact. Tap, create your choice of a blood token, clue token or food token. 3. Tap, sacrifice 3 artifact tokens with different names. Search your library for an artifact card, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. Activate only as a sorcery. Alltech Matter Weaver for 2 and 1 white, 2/4. Whenever you cast a creature spell, choose 1. Create a 1/1 colorless Neon artifact creature token. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact token you control. Special Guest, Stoneforge Mystic, Brazier Borrower, Port Raiser, Desert, Prismatic Vista, Morbid Opportunist, Mystic Snake, Desertation, Scape Shift, and Notion Thief. Last but not least, Commander. Outlaws of Thunder Junction will come with 4 pre-constructed Commander decks. First one, Most Wanted. Its Commander, Olivia Opulent Outlaw for 1, 1 red, 1 white and 1 black, 3/3 flying lifelink. Whenever one or more outlaws you control deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. 3. Sacrifice 2 treasures. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on each creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Next one is Quick Draw. Its commander Stella Lee wildcard for 1/1 blue and 1 red. 2/4. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, exile the top card of your library until end of your next turn. You may play that card. Tap. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Activate only if you've cast 3 or more spells this turn. Desert Bloom. Its commander Yuma Proud Protector. 5 1 red 1 green and 1 white. 6/6. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each land card in your graveyard. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may sacrifice a land. If you do, draw a card. When a desert card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, create a 4/2 green plant warrior creature token with reach. Last but not least, Grand Larceny. Its commander, Gonti Kani Accusator. For 2/1 black, 1 green and 1 blue. 5/5. Spells you cast but don't own cost 1 less to cast. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, look at the top card of that player's library, then exile it face down. You may play that card as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. So that was the last card in this particular day 1 of the spoilers of Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Join me again tomorrow for more spoilers of this Western set. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more and more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.